Hey, it's Rich, the Louisiana Hobby Guy. Are you having problems with your Lightburn camera where you've calibrated it, you've done the lens adjustment, all that kind of stuff, and then you come back the next day and you put a piece of wood down and all of a sudden it's off by 1/4 of an inch? Well, it's not the camera that's the problem. I've found that 99% of Lightburn issues are user error, and this is one of them. In fact, it caught me off guard just today. I had gone and done a complete calibration on the Lasermatic 30 not long ago, and it was spot on everywhere. And then just one little change, and all of a sudden it was off by almost 1/2 an inch everywhere. Now, I'm not one to really use a camera a lot, but when I do, I need it to be precise. So let's talk about what the problem is that people are having. And it's not the camera, it's the way you have it calibrated. So you all know these little squares here for the camera calibration, and this is what I'm talking about today. And we're going to jump over into Lightburn, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a way where it works 100% of the time for you. So let's go. Okay, so we're in Lightburn now, and I have already calibrated my lens. So if we were to go to laser tools and calibrate camera lens, that would give you the little round dots, the dot printout that you download, you print, and you go through the nightmare of aligning it. Well, fortunately, I have a Lasermatic, and they have a file that you can just import. In fact, I'm just going to use the shortcut. I'm going to right click on the camera, and you can see it right here, import camera settings. And then if we go to the Lasermatic 30 camera settings, I've downloaded this from their Facebook support group, and there it is right there. So Lasermatic Mark II, May 24th. So I've already done that, and all you do is import it, and that's it, you're done. So now I've got my 4 squares, and the 5th one in the center, not quite sure what that's for. It's going to engrave on these 4 squares. So now if I right click using the shortcut over here, and I do the calibrate camera alignment, it's going to ask me what type of camera am I using. I'm using an overhead. The camera is the HDR camera. Then I click next. Now you have to fill out the material thickness. So I'm going to start with the 6mm. I have that on hand and ready. And the fill speed, I think I'm going to set to 9,000. And the fill power, I'll set to 75. And I'll do the same over here, 9,075. Now you can hit frame at this point. This is what it's going to export here, or print out as some people like to call it. These 4 numbers and images. You can hit frame if you want to check the framing. I don't have to, because I know where this is a precision machine. I know exactly where to place my material. So I'll just hit start. Now that freezes up my camera over here during the calibration, but I'll put another video on the screen showing what it's doing, and then we'll come back and check the overlay. I'll speed this up.
What's on revive? Side go high, hold your flavor, gonna make you fly, guitar strong and dance for bumping. Laser beams gonna keep you jumping. Jambalaya assembler in the pot, Louisiana hobby guy. He's got the spot, filled with lasers.
Okay, now that that's finished, we can click next, and you'll see that it has captured my camera, which is why it stopped working down there. And at this point, I have my return to finish position way up in the top right corner. If you don't, you can use this to move it to the middle, or this to move it to the top right corner. So if I clicked on this, it would move it to one or the other sides. So we're going to click capture image. You see how it moved it to the middle there. And now we're going to click next. And at this point we have to click marker number 1, as it says right here. So there's marker number 1. We have to zoom in on this. And this gets a little bit fuzzy when you zoom in. So it's not actually click, it's double click. So we'll try and get as close to the middle as I think. That looks about good. Now you zoom out and click marker number 2. This one's a little clearer. And there's the line right there in the middle. So we're going to get right very close to that. And this is where you take some time here. And that's not right, so I'm going to just click this one again. You can keep clicking if you stay in the same spot. I want to try, okay, that looks pretty good right there. So marker number 2 is done. Now we're going to go to marker number 3. I'm going to say that I'm going to try and get this on the first click. I think that's close enough. And then we're going to come over here to marker number 4. And there you see the box boundary just appeared. So that is the boundary. It looks pretty good, so I'm going to say next and finish. Now that we're finished, we can update our overlay right here on the camera tab. And there you can see what's on the workbed right now. So let's take and draw something on here. Let's do the number 2, I guess. We'll just type the number 2 like that, select it, and try and get it. And this is going to be a little bit different here, but we'll try and get it as close as we can. That looks pretty close right there. I'm going to say that's close enough. So there we go. Let me reactivate this camera over here. So now you can actually see it work. And I'll hit start and we'll see what happens. And there we go. Now it's done. The job is done. And now we can update the overlay again. And you see where it is? If I pull this off, it's perfect. I'll do undo, redo. You can't even tell that we did that number 2 there. And now, just to make this a little clearer, what I'll do is grab a circle this time. And now I'll hold shift and drag from one side to the other, select it, bring it right over the top here, maybe make it just a little bit bigger like that, so you can see the difference in it. And there we go, that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and hit start one more time. There it is. Now I'll click update overlay, and let's pull it off, and it's in the exact spot that we put it. Watch down here as I pull this off. See it? So that's not so clear. Let's do it somewhere where it is much clearer. Do it here in the middle and see if we can get this sort of lined up. I don't know why that doesn't look like a perfect circle. It may not be in the template, but we'll just leave it like that. We'll hit start. And now we'll hit update overlay, and I'll pull this off, and you can see where it is. And what I'm going to do is actually lower the speed on this. Oh, I have the power all the way down to 15, no wonder why. So I'll change this to 50 instead and say OK. We'll run this one more time. I was wondering why that wasn't coming out clear. Now I'll hit update overlay, and there you can see, if I pull this off, put it back. That is within, that's within a 1/2 millimeter right there. So let's try another corner way down here. Let's get this right on the outside of that corner, like outside of that circle, like that, and hit start. Now we'll update the overlay one more time, and you see that that's spot on. So if I pull that off of there, there's the outer circle, undo, it's right spot on, right exactly where it's supposed to be. See the outer circle? So it doesn't get much better than this, folks. This is just how easy this is to do. And we'll just do one more, just for fun. Get it right somewhere near the middle. Oh, I think I may have screwed that one up. So let's just draw another one. I think I adjusted that one. Or maybe these aren't perfect circles. I don't know. Yeah, I did have to adjust that other one. So let's adjust this one down. Bring that side in, bring this side in. I don't think that these are perfect circles in the template that they give you. That it prints on there, but we'll do this one more time. And then update the overlay, and there you can see it a lot more clearly. There's what it printed out on there, and there is where it was told to engrave. So if you look close over here, I didn't have this set up right, but that is right on the line, almost all the way across. So this entire side from here all the way to here, right about there, is spot on, and the circles aren't circles for some reason. But let me show you something different here that will make more sense to you. So let's zoom way in on this. Let's take the pencil tool this time, and let's draw a line right through the middle of this, just like that, and hit start. Now let's update the overlay. Look at that. That is spot on. So I probably should have done this with the line to begin with. See the line that it engraved? And that doesn't get any better than that. That is absolutely perfect. So let's go ahead and do that one more time in a different place. We'll do it on the number 3. And this one we can get right there perfectly in the middle, like that, and hit start. Now we'll update it once again. Look at how spot on that is. That is exactly where it's supposed to be. If I fade the overlay, you can't see it any better, so I'll leave it like that. So there you can see how precise that is. We'll take and go to the complete other side of the laser up here, and we'll put this one right there between those two, like that. Hit start and update the overlay. Zoom way in, pull it off, and you can't really see it. I mean, I can see it, but this side is dark for some reason. I think it's the way the lights point down at the machine, but we'll do it in another place where it's lighter. And here is good. We'll put it right there. Hit start. Update overlay. And there you can see. So that is right exactly where it's supposed to be. So there you go. That's how easy this is to do. And I already demonstrated it with the number, but I will do it one more time down here. with the number 3. We'll bring this over, and that's pretty, I don't have the same exact font, but this needs to be brought down like that. This needs to be brought over just a little bit, and this one needs to be brought over just a little bit that way. And there, I think we've got what we're looking for. So let's go ahead and run this job. And update the overlay. And look at that. Pull it off. You can't even tell where the second burn was. Undo. It's just spot on. Doesn't get any better than that. And this will work perfectly. So now that I've got it all perfectly set up, where everything is engraving exactly in the right spot, I'm going to go ahead over here and right click, and I'm going to export camera settings. So these are my camera settings for the honeycomb bed. So I need to do 6mm Mark II 30 watt, and we're going to just add one word to this, and that is 2 words. Jig table, and I'll save that. Now I'm just going to repeat the process with the different thicknesses of material until I have all of these redone. 2.5mm, 3mm, 8mm, and 10mm. So you see I have my jig table in here now. So if I were to switch from 6mm wood to 3mm wood, then I would click on the 3mm and say save. But I haven't done that one yet. I'm going to do that one next. So that's how easy this is to set up and calibrate. So that's really about it. It's really very simple. And I'm not saying that this is not the technical right way to do this, but calibrating the camera lens, basically all I do is go through a couple of the different automatic camera lens settings like I showed you earlier, and I update the overlay and I see if it looks square and if it looks right, and that's the one that I use based on the statistics of the camera. Try and stick with a 5-megapixel camera, and then pick the one that's closest to yours. 60mm lens, 120mm lens, whatever that one is, and just go with that one, because it's all about the alignment. That's what matters. Those 4 numbers, those 4 graphics that you burn onto the wood. If you burn those on the wood and you double click in the direct center of all 4 of those, it's going to be accurate. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I've got a lot of experience with cameras. I've got them on the CO2. I've made my own camera build in one of my videos. You know, I've tried all different cameras, and I've set up at least a dozen cameras over the years. And I've always done it this way. I first started with that printout of the dots, and it drove me crazy. I think I only did 1 camera setup that way. And then I found this other way to do it. I said, let me just pick one that's already set up, closest to the camera that I've got. And that worked perfectly. And so will this. If you're lucky enough to have a Lasermatic like that one back there, well, then you can go to the Facebook group, the Rolly Automation official Facebook group, and you can download the camera lens profile, and you can use that profile. So you skip that whole step. All you do is right click and import camera settings, and you're done with the first step, and you can move right straight on to the second step. If you're not fortunate enough to have a Lasermatic, then just pick the camera that matches yours closely. But it is this alignment that matters the most. So that's it. And then don't forget, save each profile for each different thickness. That's where the problem comes in with everyone, is that they calibrate it to 3mm wood, and then they drop on a piece of cardstock, and it's way off. Of course it's going to be way off, because the camera lens has changed. So think of it as like a DSLR camera, and you have something that's completely in focus, and then you move away from it, and all of a sudden it's out of focus. Same thing happens here. This is all about focus. It's just like focusing your laser to run jobs. Same exact thing. If you take it out of focus and you don't set your focus properly, you're not going to get good results. Same thing goes for the camera, exact same thing. I tried to make this short today. It's really not something that you can make really short. I did the best that I could. But anyway, as always, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Every project's gonna blow your mind. YouTube viewers getting real hype, watching the guy.